What's up, you guys? It's your boy JB, and I am here today with the review for The Real Housewives of Dallas. This is season 5. This is episode 2. You dim some, you lose some. So, you guys, without further ado, let's jump into this episode review, shall we? All right, you guys. So the episode, it picked up where the last one left off, which I don't know why Bravo did that. Why they premiered it on New Year's Day. And then New Year's Eve actually, and then came back last Monday and showed one of those episodes where they show people who tweet about the episode. I don't know why they did that, but they did that, and now we're here this week. So in this episode, it picked up where the last one left off. You guys remember when Tiffany was outside talking to Brandy about the video that she did, and it coming to light. And, Tiffany shared her story with Brandy about how when she came to America, the kids, made the insensitive thing about the eyes. And it just, just made her feel some type of way. Not about, just made her remember what she went through. And then she was also talking about how recently at her hospital, she had a patient, and that patient requested another doctor who did not have the coronavirus. Something like that is so ignorant and insensitive. Just because you see a woman that is Chinese, you automatically assume that she has coronavirus. Texas. This is a Republican state, and people here are outright racist. Not everyone is racist here in Texas, but some people are. So then, they go back inside, and Deandra asks, how did Tiffany feel at the conversation with Brandy? She said she felt that it was cathartic. Cameron asked her, what does cathartic mean? I'm like, God damn. Never mind. You really play up that blonde role, don't you? Let's move on. All right, since I just mentioned Cameron, let's go ahead and knock her out the way. Honestly, the scene with Cameron, I was thoroughly annoyed with it. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Cameron annoys me, and I'm just gonna tell you guys. I know I've said that in plenty of videos before when I've reviewed Dallas. Cameron annoys me, and she actually really annoyed me this episode. I think this season the people who are going to annoy me the most will be Cameron and Carrie, and I'm gonna explain why I feel like they're gonna annoy me the most this season. So Cameron is baby talking that damn dog fancy. I just don't get it. Cameron, she I don't know if she's playing the persona of a ditzy dumb blonde. I don't know. Like sometimes when I see her on the show, I'm just like, are you playing a role? Like, cause I can't imagine someone. There are people who are like that, but damn. I couldn't be married to something like that. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. So then, she was, Court, he's putting out the for sale sign. She said that she felt like it was tacky and that, people look at that and they spread rumors and gossip and things like that. I'm like, what? You do, well, I guess she does live in Highland Park, and those bougie, uppity people might think things, but people can sell their houses because they maybe want to move to a different area. They may have, job may have relocated. I don't know. And she's talking about, people think that with COVID that, they don't have any money or they could be divorcing. If I see a for sale sign on somebody's yard, I'm just like, oh, the family's moving. Okay, it is what it is. It ain't got shit to do with me. And if we're cool and close, like if we live in a neighborhood where everybody's knows each other, then no one should be speculating about what's going on in your house, in your relationship. But yeah, so he does tell her that they did get an offer, but it's a lowball offer. I know he said something about the people are out of town, and she tells him that she wants to be included in the process. Knock yourself out, Court and Cameron. Let's move on. All right, you guys, next let's talk about Deandra. Now, I will say that this scene was hella interesting with the shaman. especially when he put that thing up her nose. I'm like, what the hell is he sucking out energies? I don't know anything about shamans, so if you guys know something about shamans, feel free, get down in the comment section and let me know what you know about shamans, because I don't know anything about that. That's not a part of my religion or anything like that. So just let me know in the comment section below. So she's talking about how in her life she wants to have better relationships with the people that are in her life. And she's talking about the fact that, when her father passed away, he had he had two wills, because when he divorced her mom, he married her stepmother and they adopted a son. So him passing away, it left two wills. So they had to fight in court, but Deandra and her mom won, and the stepmother and the brother lost their case, and that brought upon a rift in the family. And she says that her stepmother had recently reached out to her to let her know that her brother had had a baby. So then we later in the episode see Deandra as she's talking to Jeremy, and she's telling Jeremy that, she texts her brother about, congratulations on the baby, and he texts her back saying, thank you, we're really excited about the baby. And I love the advice that Jeremy did give to Deandra. He asked her, what do you want? And Deandra's like, I want to have a relationship with my stepmother and my brother, because she said in her interview with the producers that, she used to tell her stepmother things that she didn't even tell Mama D. So I agree with Jeremy. Whatever the stuff that you're saying, is it coming from the heart? She said yes. He says, okay, well, what you guys need to do is you guys need to come together, sit down, hash things out. If you guys are going to move forward with a relationship, let the past be the past. If not, it's time to move on. And I absolutely 100% agree with that. If you guys are going to if you guys want to work things out, then sit down, put everything on the table, the good, the bad, the ugly. And if you guys are going to say, hey, what happened in 2004, that's 2004. We're here now in 2020, and we're going to dead the situation. Things may have gotten ugly in court, but we're at the end of the day, we're family. Let's move forward. That's how I feel. But let's move on. All right, you guys, let's talk about Carrie real quick. Wasn't much with Carrie in this episode. So with COVID, Carrie's kids are all home. The daughter that went to college last year is back. Like I said, all the kids are back home. It's COVID. I don't even know how I'm gonna make this stretch out. I really can't. Actually, yes, I can. So her daughter Olivia, I guess she goes to school out there in California. So she's back, and she's just talking about the differences between California and Dallas, which there's a big difference between California and Dallas. Texas and California, Texas, LA, Texas, California, Dallas, Los Angeles, big difference. Republican, one state and city is Republican, one state is Democratic, one city and state is a Democrat. So she's talking about the Black Lives Matter protests and how out there in LA, things are a lot different. People understand the cause and people are out there. And she's talking about how it's a stark difference here in Dallas. I actually can see that, because yeah, I can definitely see that, because there is a stark difference. And I'm gonna close my notes real quick. I'm gonna close my notes, because this one is something that I can actually speak on. There is a stark difference, because it's really interesting, because during the whole Black Lives Matter protest for Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and all of them, it was, they showed it on our local news and you could see it. But then at one point there was a counter protest, and it was a counter protest. People around here were protesting for who, the person whose name I don't say on this channel. People were protesting for him, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, after the election, in the area where Brandy lives, she lives in Plano. I go through Plano when I go to get, so I drive through Plano, and I was driving through there, and there's this, there's this Wells Fargo bank, and it's on a corner. So I was driving, and there was one night where they were protesting for you know who about this election. I mean, it was a stark difference. Like, you can protest for, it's okay when they protest for lies, but when we protest for injustices, it's cool. It's not cool. So I get where she's coming. I get where the daughter's coming from because, like I said, this is a Republican state. You know, certain people here are outwardly racist. So I mean, I understood where she was coming from. But like I said, but also people did protest here in Dallas and in Texas. You know, so people did protest, but it wasn't as big as the protests in other cities, and you know. So yeah, let's move on. All right, you guys, next let's discuss Tiffany in this episode. I think I'm gonna really like Tiffany. So we see Deandra and Stephanie, they go over to Tiffany's house. Tiffany's home is gorgeous. She has a wine cellar in her home. Her closet, you know, it has a fingerprint lock. Now she couldn't get in it for a few minutes, but she finally was able to get into it. I was kind of with Stephanie. I'm not gonna. Only thing about the thing that I agree, the one thing that I did agree with Stephanie is just when you come over to my house for the first time, I'm not gonna show you in my closet because the shit that Tiffany had in her closet, the price tags, no. I don't want nobody coming into my house and stealing shit. I don't want nobody trying to break into my house. So that was my thought process. So you know they talk about the party, and Tiffany was talking about her conversation with Brandy once again, and she was saying that she doesn't feel that Brandy is racist, which I don't feel that Brandy is racist either. And I'm gonna say this as well. I don't feel that Leanne is racist. I don't want nobody to think that I feel that either one of the ladies are racist. Like I said in the first video, both of them were very insensitive in what they did. Brandy was insensitive for that video, mimicking what she thinking a Chinese or Asian person is, and Leanne was wrong for her comments about Mexicans. They were both wrong. I don't want to. I'm not going back and going back and forth. They were both wrong. I think the difference is, and you can agree or disagree, it doesn't make me a bit of a difference. The thing is, for me with Leanne kept repeating the things. That was my problem with Leanne. If Leanne had stopped repeating the shit and just apologized for it, it would be a different story. Now, and with Brandy, the situation with Brandy happened after the season had ended. So it wasn't on camera, which I'm not giving an excuse, but the thing, and she didn't, once that video came out, I don't know what happened because I didn't really follow it, so I can't say what she did and what she didn't do. So I'm not gonna say what she did or didn't do. I can only say what Leanne did because I watched what Leanne did. They do talk about Carrie and the fact that at the party Carrie kept pushing shots onto Tiffany. So then Tiffany also tells them that she wants to invite the ladies out for dim sum, which is a part of her Chinese culture. So then we do see all the ladies dress up for dim sum. And I was looking at that place. I was like, that area looks very familiar. And I have to look it up, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it does look familiar. If you guys are familiar with Dallas, it's in so Dallas is not as big as what people think it is. It's little subsections of Dallas. So this area that they were in is called Richardson. I actually used to work in Richardson. So like I said, all the ladies show up. Now Deandra shows up and she tells them that she went and got a COVID test the day before because she thought she had COVID, but she tested negative. So we see Carrie and Cameron, they're on their way there. And it was just, the way that Carrie was just talking about Deandra, I'm like, damn, if she's your friend, I would literally hate to be your enemy because God, you going to town on Deandra. So they all get there, and once again, Carrie is coming at Deandra. The food, I will say the food looked interesting. I would have to be honest, it wouldn't be something that I would eat because I'm a picky eater, so I wouldn't have ate the food. Um, you know, Cameron in her interview talking about she loves Chinese food. I'm like, Cameron, you do realize that what we eat, what Americans can eat as Chinese food is not what actual Chinese people eat. It's that's an Americanized version of Chinese food. They don't eat that shit that we eat at Panda Express every day. They don't eat that shit. Like, you do realize that, but okay, whatever. So Deandra was talking to Cameron about her brother, and I don't know. Carrie should really shut the fuck up, honestly, because Carrie was talking about, oh, are you talking about being sick again? Girl, shut up. And then they did bring out the chicken feet. I will commend Stephanie for attempting it, but she didn't eat it. The chicken feet looked like orange chicken, but I probably wouldn't have ate it because I was thinking to myself the whole entire time when they brought the foot out, I'm like, that foot probably has tiny little bones in it, and I don't want to be having to spit out bones. So I commend Carrie. I mean not Carrie, but Carrie ate it. Stephanie ate it. I don't know if the new girl ate the other new girl ate anything or not. Deandra, I think she tried it. Cameron, whatever with her. Kind of being, actually, to be honest with you, Cameron was a little bit rude, if you want my opinion, but that was Real Housewives of Dallas, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Like the video, leave your comments, and subscribe to the channel. And hit that bell notification button so you guys are aware of when I drop anything else. And also, you guys, go over to the Planner channel, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff, description bar below. And I'll see you guys in the next one, which will be Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, you guys.